Hi, my name is Taisha Pearson, and I am a Liberty University online student, and this is my interpersonal communication project. Communication. Stewart states that communication is an ongoing process where humans construct meaning together, verbally and non-verbally, and it is an important part of human lives. There are several features of communication: meaning, communication between individuals discussing their views on life; choice, humans have choices in life that the choices one makes discloses one more values; culture, describes a person physically and culturally; who and what one believes affects how one communicates; identities, identities are always constructed through communication. One builds identity by what they say and their actions. Conversation, people communicate verbally and non-verbally, face-to-face, and by electronic device. Nexting, when one responds in a positive way to what has just been said or done, it helps the situation. Interpersonal communication is a subset of the general process of communicating, and it is a verbal and nonverbal process when two or more people exchange information, feelings, and meaning. Stewart states that interpersonal communication maximizes the presence of the personal. It happens when individuals' conversation goes to a personal level. I have many overarching goals. I want to embrace who I am as an individual, who God created me to be, and stop trying to please others. I want to enlarge my conversation. Enlarging conversation will benefit me and the person I'm speaking with. Scripture. So God created mankind in His own image. In the image of God, He created them. Male and female, He created them. Genesis 1:27 from the New International Version. More of my goals. I want to embrace positivity daily. Living a positive life will pour over into the lives of others. I want to embrace the skill of empathetic listening. In my professional field and personal life, people come to me because they're in a broken situation. When they come, I must listen to understand their situation so I can help them realize that even a situation that is broken has some life left in it. Conversation is a tool that humans use to connect with people and form relationships. Sometimes I find myself thinking of what to say next during a conversation. Learning to effectively enlarge a conversation can benefit me and the person that I am talking to. Knowing what to say next, eye contact, direct contact, and the tone of voice are many important key factors during communication and enlarging conversation. Let's talk more about enlarging a conversation. Enlarging a conversation comes with knowing who you are as an individual. It also means making improvements as needed to effectively enlarge conversations with others. Remember, once a person learns to listen, the conversation enlarges and they begin to communicate effectively. About my assessment. According to my score, 96 out of 100 on the interpersonal communication skills test, I am an insightful person. I view things from others' viewpoint. Empathy is very important to me, and I don't put me above others. If I feel a sense of confusion or uncomfortableness from someone, I will adjust myself so that individual won't feel so uneasy in my presence. God made me, and He made me who I am. This is me, competent influencing specialist, CIS, according to Uniquely You. I have many positive characteristics. I am an individual who likes to do things the right way. Impress others. First impressions are important to me. Stabilize situations. I'm a person of peace. I'm not an aggressive person. That can be positive and negative. I am great at doing things well with time. I love both small and large crowds. I am an encouraging person, one-on-one, but not so much in a crowd of people. I am very loyal. When you hold a place in my heart, I will do anything I can for you. According to Uniquely You, there are negativities about me as well. Not being aggressive in some situations can not be a good thing. It states that I sometimes have a critical and unattractive attitude, but through Christ and with growth, that has changed. Not taking charge can be a negative thing, especially when I know things are not being done the correct way. I'm poor at making decisions quickly. I don't think clearly in rush situations. People expect me to be both submissive and competent. In my opinion, I am an obedient person and knowledgeable and skilled in certain areas. People expect me to be withdrawn. People expect me to interact more on an individual basis and not so much in a large crowd. That is true. People expect me to be true and protective of close friends, and that I am. Let's talk about the socialization process. People tend to develop the same patterns that they experienced in their social environment as a child. Those patterns include behavior, relationship, and listening patterns. Burley Allen believes that if people are not listened to as children, then most likely they will seek people in their adulthood that do not listen when they speak as well. A little bit about my background. I come from a mother and father who are different in so many ways. My mother is a very outspoken woman, but at times she will sit back and observe things. She once had a temper that would rise quickly when things got next to her. But at this stage in her life, she's a very, very humble person. She used to be the life of the party, but she has changed partners. My mother is a well-organized individual and very careful when she is doing a task. My father is a very reserved man. He is not a big talker. He always been a humble individual. When he is on his job, he is all about getting the job done and doing it the right way. Without them, there will be no me. My mother and father, what I experienced as a child, what they instilled in me, what I believe in, my behavior plan, along with how God created me, influenced who I am, and how my conversations goes with others. Those influences are both positive and negative. I am cautious, organized, encouraging, loyal, giving, and dependable on the positive side. But on the negative side, I believe friendship is everything. And that can't be a good thing because when it doesn't turn out the way you expect, it's hurtful. I believe change can be harmful, and I'm not a risk taker. Let's talk about what happens with barriers. Barriers exist when the listeners is only hearing what they want to hear and not effectively listen to what the talker is exhaling. Another barrier to listening is biased listening. Biased listening is when a person forms an opinion about what would be said before it's said. My identifiable habits, being concerned about impressing others constantly, shouldn't be one. I am anxious for a person to stop talking so that I can argue my point. If he or she is not getting the point across fast enough, I tend to interrupt. This happens mainly in my personal life. That's not a good way to be. Thinking about my response to the listener while the listener is talking instead of listening to everything that is being exhaled. How can I help them if I'm not effectively listening to what is being communicated? I want to improve my barriers. Self-knowledge will help me communicate and interact with others effectively by reflecting upon my own behavior. Use the TLC card, especially when in a disagreement with someone. I will listen without interrupting the person who is talking, and the talker listening card would be a great tool to use in any conversation that I'm having with anyone, personal and professional. Instead of focusing on my response, I will focus on what he or she is communicating with me, so that the next thing I would say would be helpful to and towards improving their situation. Noise pollutions are internal and external factors that distract one from effectively listening to the talker. In reference to internal noise pollutions, past experiences that cause one to hear only what they want and form an opinion about the information without really listening to what is being communicated. Listening at level 2 will help one summarize and visualize what has already been said during that time lapse. It fills the void there. In reference to external noise pollution, things that one can physically see and or hear can interfere with effective listening, like the talker whispering, constant interruptions, doing more than one task at a time, and very loud noises. Ask the person to speak a little louder because you want to understand the situation so you can help them. Go into an area where there are less distractions and focus on doing one thing at a time. My action plan: embrace who I am. Understanding who I am will help me effectively listen and help others. Pray and meditate on the information that I obtain in this class. Pray and ask God for guidance in the process of helping others. Practice empathetic listening. I will listen, acknowledge, and repeat. I will strive for level 1 listening. I want to thank you all for listening to my intercommunication project. I want to say thank you to the professor for all of the things I've learned in this class. Thank you all. God bless you and good night.